Alright, here is a 2001 Paul Reed Smith McCarty, all stock. Well, other than I flipped the pickups around. And I think I got it in 2008 or 2009. I'll look it up before I post this video. And I'll just tell you how it's held up over the years. And the only issue I've had is I had to level the frets. And that's just a common thing. Paul Reed Smith does use a harder fret material than most companies, so that helps. I'd still rather it be stainless steel, but that's another video. That does change the tone a little bit, but it's not enough to bother me. So I would rather that they use a stainless steel fret. But that's it. That's the only thing I had to do. The tuners work great. I mean, I did have to build the nut back up, but that's another common thing. It's not even really an issue. No scratchiness in the pots, even when I turn the distortion on here. I mean, pretty quiet. One other issue I did forget. When I first got it, it looked like it hadn't been played much, and there was some dust in the pickup selector switch. So sometimes the neck pickup wouldn't come on. All I had to do was just take some contact cleaner to it, and it's never given me a problem since then. That's it. But yeah, these are high quality guitars, and usually if you see me playing somewhere, I'm using the Paul Reed Smith just because the quality of them, and I can trust them. And again, I do have guitars that are easier to play. And at home, if I have to learn something really technical, I'll usually use one of my other ones. But when I'm performing, I'll grab one of these, and I usually won't even bring it back up, just because I've never had an issue with one. I have three of them. I have a 95 standard 24 and 2007 513, and they've both been very good guitars. Finish is held up great too. It's the older one, I just think is polyurethane, which doesn't bother me at all. I know some people prefer the nitrocellulose. To me, the only advantage to that is it has a nicer look to it when it wears, but it won't last as long as a polyurethane finish. If it does change the sound, it's not enough for me to notice. But I'll go ahead and I'll try to think of some other things. I have heard people complain about these ones not being good for metal. I've found it just depends on the amp. So if I have a really dark or muddier sounding amp, that bridge pickup sometimes is you don't get that tight low end, but the amp I'm playing through now, it's just fine. And I don't play metal very often anymore. When I was younger, I played it a lot. And I'll go through the clean sounds. This is the neck pickup. It's a very dark. And I have the tone all the way up. I would be perfectly comfortable doing a jazz gig with this guitar. And I have 10 gauge strings on it right now. I've experimented with 9s, I even tried 8s on it for a while. And since it is a darker sounding guitar, I'm a bit tempted to go back to 9s or 8s. Even I tend to break 8s. Well, I used to. But just to brighten it up. It would make it a little bit more versatile, and if it's too bright, I can always roll the tone down. Right now, sometimes I would like the neck pickup to be a little snappier, but it does have a coil tap. I'll show you that. So here's a neck pickup, humbucker, coil tapped, and this will sound different than a stock one because I have flipped the pickup so that now instead of the outer coils being engaged with the coil tap, it is the inner coils. So it's going to be a little bit brighter than it would be stock in that setting. Here's the distortion. So it's still pretty dark. Distortion with the humbucker. show you the middle pickup sound. This is with both humbuckers. And split. The reason why I flipped them, I don't know if I said it already, but I wanted it to sound more like a Strat when I was in this middle position, because that's one of my favorite sounds for just rhythm playing or especially funk stuff. It's not quite like a Strat, but closer than it was before. And here is bridge humbucker, clean, and coil tapped. And again, this is going to sound different because I flipped the pickup. Or it'll sound different than stock, and then it would stock. So a little darker. It's an interesting sound. I kind of like it. I almost flipped them back the other way, but it makes the guitar a bit unique if I have it set up like that in the coil tap position. Still do country stuff with it. And I'll try. Oh, I forgot the middle position with the distortion. Now this is the humbucker. Coil split. And our bridge position with distortion. Here's the humbucker. Coil split. Oh, and I should show you how it cleans up too. I'll go back to the neck pickup. So in the humbucker position, it was always very, very dark. I'll show you that. So here's volume all the way up. Rolled off. So even when I hit it hard, it's not snappy. Maybe a little bit. Coil split. Volume all the way up. So it's a little dark for me if I wanted to do a rock gig, but I could put lighter strings on it. I could lower the action on it too. I have it set up so I can do really low down tunings, like drop C sharp if I wanted to. I could probably do drop C on it. Right now it's in standard tuning, so if I kept it in standard tuning and just brought the bridge down, I could get that snappier, brighter sound, or changing the string gauge. But I don't. If I want to do alternate tunings, I don't want a really light string. 10's about as light as I want to go if I'm doing lower tunings. And, oh yeah, one of the reasons this is my guitar for alternate tunings. It's so stable. I mean, fixed bridge, and then it's got a really thick neck on it, so it doesn't move much whenever I change tunings. And it's an okay action for standard tuning. It will come down a little. The action comes down a little bit when I loosen it. But it's not to the point where it's spreading out. And I can go from standard tuning and be decently comfortable in doing a gig like that, and do a whole gig with it dropped down. I don't have to adjust the neck, unless I want it to be absolutely perfect. But this is my guitar for alternate tuning, so it'll never be right on where I'd like it to be in every tuning. Oh yeah, I still have the truss rod cover. I leave those off just in case I need to adjust the neck, and I don't have to do that very often on this guitar. I can't remember the last time I did. One thing, I do prefer metal tuning machine buttons that you can screw on, but these have lasted for 19 years, so I can't complain. Or what are they? The old Cluson style tuners, they've never failed. Oh, and one thing with every Paul Reed Smith guitar I have, the ratio is a bit too sensitive for me. So if I'm using a really accurate tuner, I have to be so precise. And it actually takes me longer to tune my Paul Reed Smith guitars than it does my other ones. Because you have to really be precise with your right hand. It makes stringing it up really easy and fast. So that's one of the benefits of that. It does bother me, though. That and the other thing, it has a 10-inch radius fretboard. That's way too rounded for me. But again, I still play these guitars because I can rely on them. And I think Paul Reed Smith does have a couple models with flatter fingerboards. I think the Santana model, and there's another guy I think might have like a 20-inch radius, so that would be great. Flatter the better for me. And intonation. This is probably really good from the factory. But as things wear, it has become more difficult for me to get the guitar intonated properly. I can't adjust it on each individual string, so I can adjust it back and forth completely or side to side. I haven't messed with the intonation on this guitar in a while, so it's probably off a little bit. But here's a harmonic at the 12th fret. Note. That's a little flat, and that could be because the string's old. Yeah, flat. Sharp. Little sharp. Little sharp. That's really good right there. So I'll probably mess with it after this video and get it a little more precise. But I always, I only adjust the intonation with the new strings, and I've had these on for months. So that could be the whole reason why the intonation is off right now. Yeah, jacks never failed. I mean, it's nice how high quality steel, right? That's brass actually. Good solid metal for the jack plate. Everything is hand wired. There's no circuit board in this guitar. Nice and simple. I mean, coil tap. You get 6 sounds, and I think that's about all I can think of. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments.